Hi everybody, my name is Aaron Rosa. I know Chris Todd over here from a trip that I did to Lebanon a few months ago, and he decided that he wanted to do this insane challenge where we try all these different types of hot sauces and make me cry, so you guys are engaged in hearing the story about what he's doing there. We're going to take a bite of each of these wings with a different, progressively hotter hot sauce. And in between, we're going to talk about some of his work that he's doing in the Syrian refugee camps in Tyre, Lebanon. Alright, so this first one is Surrender the Booty Chili Lime. Apparently this is the mildest. And it comes with a little hat, which is cool. Alright.
And this is a chili base, so we're going from a chili, which is not a really hot. We're going to go all the way through habanero, jalapeno and habanero and Scotch bonnet and up to added capsaicin. So
yeah, and apparently capsaicin, as Chris has described to me, is essentially distilled pain. So we'll try it out. Okay, right. So after this will be the first questions here.
Okay. That's tasty.
Yeah, very limey. And since I'm actually going to be able to feel my mouth, I'll probably take another bite of this.
Yeah, that's definitely worth a second bite. That's a good sauce.
Chris, tell me a little bit about yourself. You have a family, right?
Right. So my wife Kim and I have been married now for 28 years. We have 4 kids. They range in age from 22 down to 15. 3 of the kids are in college here in the States, and so we actually are kind of parents on both sides of the Atlantic now, trying to come back and spend time with our kids here during school vacations, and our youngest daughter is still with us in Tyre.
When I first heard about Lebanon, I was thinking, whoa, danger, Will Robinson. There's a lot of news coming out of that area. Is it safe in Lebanon? What's kind of the what are your circumstances there with your family?
So, you know, the Middle East has always been unstable, and I think until Jesus comes back will continue to be unstable. But Tyre I describe Tyre as a sleepy little beach town. It's a very safe place. There's not a lot going on in Tyre. There in the south of Lebanon. We don't have crime on the streets. It's a safe place for my kids to be, and my daughter Olivia still actually has the run of the city. She has her own coffee shop that she goes to, and they know me there as Olivia's dad. She's a regular patron. So.
All right. And I've had an opportunity to witness Chris and his family in their natural environment, and they really are. They're about the whitest Middle Eastern locals you'll ever meet. Tell me a little bit about the ministry that you're doing. What brought you to Lebanon, the Middle East, and what are you actually doing on the ground there?
So my wife and I, Kim, we had for a long time wanted to be full-time missionaries, and we really prayed over where the Lord would have us go and what that would look like. So we came to Lebanon with a vision for church planting and specifically for working among Muslim people. And we arrived in Lebanon at the same time that the Syrian refugees started coming from the war in Syria. And so the Lord really brought us there, I think, at that time for those people. And so our ministry has been involved almost entirely with Syrian refugee people in Lebanon. And the work that we're doing now is primarily in the refugee camps. We went in and we established educational centers. And the reason we did that is we'd been going into the camp, the thing that they kept telling us over and over again, can you help us educate our children? Because the war's been going on 8 years now. So there are kids that are 14 years old who've never been to school. They don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know simple numbers. And so what kind of future do they have if they don't even know how to read and write their own name? And so now we teach Arabic, mathematics, and Bible. And we do all of that in 3 locations. We began a women's program along the same line because the women in one of the refugee camps came to us and said, you're teaching the kids how to read and write, and none of us know how. Start a class for us. And so that's developed into a great women's ministry that we actually do in 2 of those 3 locations. Fire roasted jalapeno pepper sauce. So
he teaches them to read in Arabic, not in English.
That's right. All right. You know, this is actually a very chunky sauce. There's like lots of chunks of pepper.
It's almost like a chutney.
It is, on top of the wing.
It's a chunky word to say. Chutney.
All right, so let's see how this one goes.
I actually kind of like that one.
It's a very jalapeno experience.
Yeah, but
because of the chunks and the smokiness is there.
Yeah, and it tastes like fruit. Almost like, I don't know, is jalapeno fruit? Is it chili a fruit? Fruit of death?
For me, this is really good at, like, we have a family level of hot sauce. that like everybody in the family eats, and that's kind of what we do for guests and family and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
you don't want to bring out the pain at a serious level when you get guests coming over.
No, and for those of you following along with my experience right now, the top of my head is actually tingling now, which is not something I'm used to.
That's a good zone to be in. That's my favorite zone.
Yeah, the head tingling. So can you describe like an average day? Like what is it you do? You wake up and like, yes, I'm a missionary. Let me go read my Bible and then fill in the blanks.
You know, I think it's actually important to have that time in the morning, and that's something that I had to discipline myself to do, because you can get so busy that you think, oh, I've got important things to do, so I'm going to run out and do those important things, and maybe later in the day I'll read my Bible, and you keep forgetting the prayer time and the Bible time, and that's an important way to start the day. So our school programs start at 9, so if I'm going to be somewhere on a particular day, I'll make sure I'm there by 9 o'clock, and we'll go in and we'll bring the kids in, and I have local teachers who do all the teaching. The only time I teach is if I'm the substitute teacher. So, if somebody's out sick, I'll go in with a little, letter chart, and we'll say, Adernib, Bab, 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 and we'll go through the letters of the alphabet, something simple like that. But the teachers, the local people, do most of the teaching, and I'm really blessed with a great group of really dedicated, and they're refugees also, the people that are doing the teaching.
Okay, so this one's called, that's hot, Angry Ginger.
Angry Ginger.
Habanero pot pepper sauce infused with ginger for a natural sweet zing for your heat. So for those of you who like to obliterate your taste buds, but also have a nice little gingery aftertaste.
Yeah, I guess this is what happens like when an Irishman gets angry and makes hot pepper sauce.
It's like if you could bottle that Irish redheaded, like...
I think it's worth noting, too, that we've moved now into the habanero range. So we've taken a step up from chili to jalapeno, and now we're in the habanero range. Things are going to get starting hot, yeah.
Oh, starting to get hot. Okay, cool. Did you ever see the Rocky 3, where he fights Mr. T, and they do the news interview?
Oh, yeah.
And it says, what's your prediction for the fight? And he goes, prediction? Pain. You talk about these people being refugees, and a lot of them are from Syria, and a lot of them are living in these camps. Can you describe maybe a little bit of the conditions that they're living in?
Yeah, so one of the things I think that it's important for people to understand about Syrian refugees is these are folks who had lives in Syria. These are people who were professional educators, pharmacists, used car salesmen, and their lives were just suddenly disrupted. And so for us as Americans, I think we can look at that and say, something like that could really happen to me. What would it be like for me to lose my home and my town and my family and go to a foreign country where I was not able to get a good job and I had to live poor as a refugee? That's a situation that they're in. Some of them are living in what I would call substandard abandoned buildings that have been fixed up and made somewhat livable. And then some of them live in tents. They actually live, if you've been around the third world, poor people tend to live in, shacks made out of sticks with plastic on them and tires on the roof. And so that's, we actually have in one of our camp locations, that's what we have for our school. And you had a chance to see that. But that's actually our schoolroom. We wanted something that was like what the people are living in.